for this week's art talk, actually, our talk about the chat about the Olympics is this week's art talk is about the Japanese artist Yayoi Kusama. I actually did see her Infinity Room installation at the Braun Museum in Los Angeles a number of years ago. It was spectacular. So over to Sarah. Yeah.
Hi, everyone. I'm jealous you got to see it, AJ. I have not, and we'll look at that in a minute. It's quite spectacular.
It is.
Share my screen. So Yayoi Kusama was born on March 22nd in 1929 in Matsumoto, Nagano in Japan. And she was born into a family of merchants and farmers who owned a plant nursery and seed farm. So Kusama began drawing pictures of pumpkins and different vegetables and things like that in elementary school, and created artwork she saw from hallucinations, which would later define her career. Her mother was not supportive of her creative endeavors. Kusama would often rush to finish her art because her mother would take it away from her to discourage her. And her parents were also the result of a loveless arranged marriage, and her father had many extramarital affairs, and Yayoi's mother would actually send her out to spy on her father and his affairs. So her traumatic childhood really was the origin and basis of her artistic career. So Kusama studied art in Matsumoto and Kyoto. And during this time in Japan, there was a movement to reject the influences of Western culture. So Kusama was forced to only study Nihonga, which consisted of creating paintings using these 1,000-years-old traditional Japanese techniques and materials. But her artistic talent was apparent even at a young age, and Kusama's work was shown in exhibitions all over Japan. Eventually, she decided to move to the US in 1957 and actually started a correspondence before she moved with Georgia O'Keeffe, who we've also done an art talk on, and who helped her secure her first exhibitions and sales once she moved over to the US. So during this time, Kusama worked feverishly, fully embracing the hedonistic, free-spirited hippie culture of the 1960s, which also included protesting war, patriarchy, and capitalist society. And combining these themes with her own intimate anxieties, she created art that was really deeply personal, but also spoke to the injustices of the times. And critics didn't really know what to make of this innovative art, but soon the struggling artist went from obscurity to notoriety. So Kusama spent much of her time between kind of 1962 and 1964 sewing thousands of stuffed fabric tubers and grafting them onto furniture and found objects to create her what she calls accumulation sculptures. And you could see as you can see on the right. And so she exhibited the works together in an attempt to create these hallucinatory scenes, but she found the labor involved in making these individual pieces really physically and mentally taxing. So in response to the labor intensity of this work, she started to utilize mirrors to achieve a similar repetition. So on the left, you could see this was her first infinity room, and this became a motif throughout her career. So again, we can see the red and white polka dot motif that she is very well known for. And it's said that as a child, she had a fascination with these smooth, round white rocks that were found in a stream near her home. And so this was kind of the inspiration behind the white dots. So the piece in the middle was commissioned by the Singapore Biennale in 2006, where she wrapped trees with her signature red and white polka dots along Orchard Road, which is one of the main roads in Singapore. And we can see her obsession with dots in both her experiential art and her painting. And the two on the sides are a painting of, she calls them her net paintings. And these could, span up to 35 feet long sometimes. So they were very astonishing. So here's another example of her infinity mirror exhibition combined with the polka dot motif again. And it's really a celebration of Kusama's maximalism. She really goes all out and wants the viewer to have this, intense sensory experience. This was exhibited at both the Seattle Art Museum and the Broad in Los Angeles. And speaking of the Broad, as AJ mentioned, you might recognize this piece. I know I've seen it on social media a lot as well. This is Infinity Mirrored Room, The Souls of Millions of Light Years Away. And this was first on exhibit at the Broad starting in 2013. and it really transports the viewer to this other space, whether it's outer space or alternate universe or a hallucination. It's just creates this really interesting relationship with space. And so how it works is the viewer actually steps into the room and a door closes behind them. So you're just completely enclosed by these flashing LED lights. And unfortunately, it's closed because of COVID right now, but is definitely something on my bucket list when it reopens.
It is an out of body experience. And who is that in that on the right one? I think I know who that is.
I recognize
That's the
that.
executive
Oh.
producer of our
Yes,
of our
that's
town
right.
halls, Elizabeth Stillman.
Lovely. Yes, it's definitely something I want to experience when it reopens.
Impressive. Very impressive.
So pumpkins have been another theme throughout Kusama's career, and they're said to be her favorite vegetable, although I guess pumpkins are technically fruits. But anyways, here's a selection of her pumpkin art. You could see she did a mirrored pumpkin room at the Dallas Museum of Art, and also different paintings of pumpkins throughout her career. Kusama has also described the pumpkin motif as her alter ego, once again emphasizing how her work and identity are intrinsically intertwined. And the lifelong obsession with the fruit derives from her youth and her family's nursery. So in 2011 and 2012, Kusama did a collaboration with Louis Vuitton. And as you can see in both the goods sold and the window display, they used her red and white polka dot motif. And I love this picture in the top right corner, the interior of the store. It's got almost like a mushroom-like toadstool quality. And speaking of mushrooms, here are some of her paintings that incorporate mushrooms. They're a bit more geometric in terms of the background, but they still have the polka dots and this kind of whimsical feel to them. So each year, the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade features a contemporary artist to create a float. So they've had artists such as Jeff Koons, Keith Haring, and Yayoi Kusama was the first female artist to be chosen in 2019. And it features her signature polka dots. And this character is part of her ongoing series called My Eternal Soul. And each limb of this character is actually its own separate balloon. And it took about 20 people to maneuver it in the parade. And finally, with the Olympics beginning, here is a photo of the Olympic torch relay that happened throughout Japan. And this is the torch relay at Naoshima Island, where Kusama has her red pumpkin sculpture on display. So Kusama's life is really a poignant testament to the healing power of art, as well as a study in human resilience. And she used her art as her therapy while also becoming one of the most prolific contemporary artists of the era. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Sarah. Fascinating.
Yeah, incredible.
If you do get a chance to see any of her infinity rooms, I really highly recommend it.
Yeah.
A contemporary artist, also obviously popularized, because I just went on Amazon earlier, and you can buy a Kusama tote bag on Amazon for about $25.
Wow.
Yeah. Sarah, which one was your favorite one?
Oh, I mean, the Infinity Lightroom. I just have to experience it someday.
Yeah, it really is an out of body experience. How about Shop? What was your favorite
That's
one?
mine too. It's one of those ones where I think that I haven't had an opportunity to experience it, but it feels like it'd be like you'd be in space. And
Yeah,
that would be
it's
very
hard to
cool.
get a reference point for yourself in terms of are you standing, not standing, all of that, because it's just
Yeah.
it's just you're in a sea of black with lights. Yeah.
Right.